Hello everyone, it's me, Aaron, Professor Thorgy, your guide to all things geeky, and welcome to another episode of Comic Class, the show every single week on this channel where we just geek out about comic books. And I will be totally honest with you, I was not planning on doing an episode this week because I am currently tallying up all of your votes that I asked you to submit to give me your favorite games, movies, and comics of 2016. And I was expecting like maybe 30 to 40 votes tops. I got over 200. So it's taking me a long time to tally all those votes up. So I was like, you know what? I'm just not gonna do a comic class this week. I'm gonna have to skip it. But for some reason, every single week, when I sit down and go, yeah, I just don't have time for comic class this week, I'm just not gonna be able to do it, that's when the entertainment industry comes in and shoves their hand in my face and slowly pushes me off frame and goes, nah man, we got some news. And boy, what a news story it is. Because we all knew that Marvel and Sony finally worked out a deal. They were going to share Spider-Man, they were going to recast Peter Parker to be in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and that is great. Finally, we're gonna get a great live-action Spider-Man movie. I hope, fingers crossed, knock on whatever this is made out of. However, Sony can still make as many other Spider-Man films as they want, and they announced that 1 year after the Marvel live-action Spider-Man movie, they would be making an animated Spider-Man movie. Seemed intriguing. Alright, sure, give it a shot. I'm willing to see what you're going to do. However, a lot of people are asking, well, is it going to be set in the Marvel Cinematic Universe? Why are you doing this a year after their thing? What are you going to do to make yours different from theirs? Well, today, they came out with a very firm answer on how their animated Spider-Man would be different than the Marvel Cinematic Spider-Man. It would not be the same guy. Yes, to everybody out there who, when they heard that Marvel would be getting the rights to Spider-Man back, said, I want it to be Miles Morales. This is a great opportunity to introduce Miles Morales. Sony was listening. Sony said, hey man, we screwed up Peter Parker too many times. Marvel, you have him. Miles is all ours now. That's right, Miles Morales is going to be the star of the Spider-Man animated film. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and say this. A little behind the scenes here, I did not find out about this until I was at work. I just got home from it. It is late here over at the Thorgy compound. My walls are thin. I do not want to wake up my neighbors. So I can't really show you my reaction to this news. So instead, I am just going to insert various clips to give you all of my emotions.
Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like...
That about summed it up. Yes, I absolutely love the character of Miles. I know that he is a character that is very important to so many people out there. He is a character that I want more people to know about. He is a character that I want the entire movie-going audiences to be introduced to. But at the same time, I fully understand you can't really make a Spider-Man film starring Miles Morales if Peter Parker doesn't exist yet. It'd kind of be like making a Spider-Man film where Uncle Ben doesn't exist. And yes, I know that the upcoming Spider-Man film is not going to star Uncle Ben, it's not going to feature Uncle Ben in there. However, Uncle Ben still existed in this universe. He was still a thing that helped to influence this Peter Parker. Peter was kind of that to Miles. He was kind of the inspiration to Miles. So you can't just go right into Miles Morales. So I was like, man, I hate saying it, but if we want Miles Morales, we're gonna have to wait a couple of years. And Sony was just like, alternate realities. Marvel can go ahead and handle Peter Parker, let everybody know who Peter Parker is, and then we can come in here and go, hey, check out Miles. Which when I said there that Sony was going to come in here and just treat this like an alternate reality, I meant an alternate reality to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Marvel Cinematic Universe is over there doing their own thing, and then they're going to have the Miles Morales universe over here. It didn't really hit me until the second I said that. Miles started off as an alternate reality character. He started off in the Ultimate Universe, which was Marvel's attempt to try and make an updated version of their universe back in 2000. It went on successfully for a couple of years, But then after a while, people kind of got tired of it. People went, what's the regular Marvel Universe doing now? And then they tried to spice it up by killing off a bunch of their characters, and that didn't really work. So then they went, you know what? Let's just do whatever we want over here. And Brian Michael Bendis came in and said, what if I just create a brand new Spider-Man? A Spider-Man who really speaks to the new generation out there. A Spider-Man who is just not a ripoff of Peter Parker, but instead is his own original character. And that's how he created Miles Morales. So it got me thinking right now, what if this is going to be the start of Sony's own little animated universe over there? Like, what if that's part of the deal? Where Marvel is now allowed to use Spider-Man in their films, but then it turns out that Sony can also go, hey, can we also get like your Ultimate characters? You ain't using them anymore, man. You killed that whole universe. How about we just have Ultimate Cap or Ultimate Iron Man pop up in our Spider-Man animated film for just a brief second? That kind of be an interesting deal if they said, all right, we're gonna give you Peter Parker, but we get the movie rights to the Ultimate Universe now. I don't know if that's what happened, but I don't know, I can see Marvel playing ball like that. Now, I will admit, Sony's live-action Spider-Man films, as of recently, have not had a good track record. However, this is going to be an animated film, and it's going to be headed up by the same guys who have been making the 21 Jump Street movies and the Lego movie. I trust them on this. I do. It feels weird for me to say that about a Sony Spider-Man film, but I'm just gonna step back and let them take control of this. Because if there are any two guys out there who I can picture making a good Spider-Man film, it's these guys. And a few brief seconds of this film were shown at a big Sony press conference. Nobody outside of the people attending got to see it. Nobody recorded it, so I can't react to any of that. However, a lot of the people who were visiting it said, yes, it does look good, it looks crisp. It almost has like a cel-shaded look to it. It almost has like a graffiti art style to it, which I think is an interesting art direction. I think that could actually be a really cool thing to see. However, there is something that got reported that has me confused. Miles Morales has a very different Spider-Man costume, and it's a pretty darn good Spider-Man costume. It is, just like the original Spider-Man costume, iconic. It is simple, but memorable. It's exactly what a Spider-Man costume should be. And it's a costume that a lot of people identify with Miles Morales. However, someone left the conference and said, yeah, the costume is the classic red and blue. Okay. Like, is he going to start in that costume? Because originally, the first time that Miles put on the costume, it was like a costume store version of the Spider-Man outfit, but seems weird that that would be what they showed this audience. I don't know, that's just a weird thing that they're not going to have the Miles Morales costume in there. Hopefully, again, it could have just been the few seconds that they showed, and then he goes, well, time to get into my real costume. But yeah, I would far rather see Miles' costume in here. It, again, just kind of seems like a way to kind of confuse the average movie-going audience out there who does not pay that close attention to this news, so that when they see an animated Spider-Man film is coming, they're going to be like, oh, geez, we just had Spider-Man last year. I'm not going to go and see another Spider-Man movie all over again. I feel like if they had that new costume in there, and they really did show that it is Miles in there and not Peter Parker, they would go, oh, different Spider-Man. Okay, cool, I'll go and check this out. Also, I'm really hoping that just because Sony gets to have Miles in their animated film, it doesn't mean that the Marvel Cinematic Universe can't eventually introduce Miles as their own character. I would love it if we got a few films featuring Peter in there, and then eventually when Peter gets a little bit older, a little bit more mature, he gets to that age where he can start like mentoring a younger Spider-Man and kind of introduce this next generation of Spider-Man. I'd love it if they actually did that, if they actually brought in Miles into the live action universe. I think that would be awesome to see. In fact, I even mentioned when I was talking about the trailer reaction, I would absolutely love it if they went, hey man, let's just introduce all the Spider people in here, because we've already heard rumors that Cindy Moon, aka Silk, has been cast in the Spider-Man Homecoming film. So if they could have her in there, get Gwen Stacy in there, get Miles in there, have some storyline where they all get spider powers and they have to go out and save the day, I would love to see all those characters get introduced into the live action universe, and then Sony could come in and go, hey man, I know you guys are really busy making your whole Avengers fighting Thanos kind of movies over there, and you don't really have any open spots in your big Marvel master plan. Can we take all those characters and give them individual films over here? Because we would totally do that. That's just the dream scenario right now for me. But those are just my opinions. Let me know how you feel about this news, and if you want to see any of the other geeky videos that we do every single week on this channel, whether it has to do with comic books, video games, or movies, then make sure you hit that subscribe button. Also, if you like this video, make sure that you share them around the internet. It's the best way to help out this channel. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Come back next time. Bye.